6 minutes after the hour of Tuesday, it's June 18th, 2019, 50 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And Shane Matobin happens to be on the line with me.
Just so happens, it's an occasional thing. Don't get used to it, people. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
regular.
Yeah, he's not like he's here Monday through Friday. he just drops in every now and then to say something.
Yeah, only when I can. Yeah.
That's right.
Where there's an open line.
That's right. That's right. Whenever there's an open line, he comes in. Yeah, right. Oh, man. Well, it's Tuesday, Shane. You know what I think about Tuesday?
No, it's terrible Tuesday. It's, ooh.
It's like a second Monday. It's like a second Monday. It shouldn't even be in the week. I don't know. I hate Tuesday.
Yeah.
I hate Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, these God days are really tough,
No.
It's really amazing. We should talk about that. The days of the weeks are actually named after gods.
That's true. They are. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. What God is Tuesday?
A terrible dog. Whoever he was, it was terrible.
Well, yeah. We'll have to research that one.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
You look it up. I'll do the weather real quick here. Oh man, spring just won't come. It just will not come.
Well, it won't stay.
Yeah, well, it won't stay, won't come, won't do whatever. All right, 73 degrees going to be our high today, 48. Say goodbye to the last good day of the week. It's going to be rain from now on. Oh, gosh. Wednesday, 70 degrees, a low of 41. Thunderstorms around the area, mostly in the late afternoon or early mid-afternoon to later in the evening. And then on Thursday, same story, PM showers, 59. We're going to drop from 70 to 73 down to 59. 38, the overnight low, maybe a little cool in some areas for plants and vegetation, whatever you got out there, so you might want to think about covering them up. 59 will be the high on Thursday. 53 on Friday, and again, more showers throughout the day. Same story on Saturday, 60, 41 the overnight low. Saturday will be about a 30 to 40% chance of rain all day long, and then pretty much same story on Sunday, except it's just partly cloudy, 66 and 43, and then the temperatures start back up next Wednesday, but Monday we got PM thunderstorms, and so we're looking at that all week long. So welcome to Montana, and springtime here.
There you go. So it's Tuesday Day. It's from the dramatic god Tyr, and he was the single god of combat. Single combat. So there you go. Norse mythology. Norseman.
Oh, okay.
And German, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I feel like
German.
I'm ready to punch somebody on Tuesday. I know that.
That's right. See, that's why.
That's it.
Single combat.
That's it, I guess.
That's right.
Temperatures around the area right now, it's 50 degrees over in Livingston, 47 in Manhattan, 48 clear in Three Forks, and in Gallatin Gateway, it's 49 degrees. Ennis is 46, Big Sky is 43, and at the airport over in Belgrade right now, it's 49 degrees. And it's 50 degrees, of course, at our lavishly appointed studios down here in beautiful downtown Bozeman, Montana, the last best place on earth, at 9 minutes after the hour, 10 minutes after the hour, actually. So there we are. So, okay. So are you popping or beeping, or is that me? Something was popping and beeping
That's
there.
your popping and beeping, but I think it's all the equipment.
Okay, you froze up.
The week, right? Like you got the music. Okay.
I don't know. You got a bad connection. Are you in Vancouver? You're not in Vancouver, are you? Hello.
Hello. What's going on here?
Well, I put you on the phone because you were freezing up on the Skype.
Oh, no, freeze are fine. No problem. I didn't freeze up. You did.
No. Okay. Yeah.
No, really. I've been sitting here talking away to you, and like normal.
Well, yeah, but we couldn't hear what you were saying because you were frozen. Oh. You're not in Vancouver, are you?
No, I'm in Kamloops.
Of course you are. Well, we can't use Skype then. We'll just leave you on the phone.
It's fine. It's working. Put me on Skype. It's working.
Fine. You think so? Okay. Well, if you freeze up again, you're going on the phone. So.
Okay, well, whack me next time.
Okay. Well, I don't have to watch you. I can just hear you. you,
Yeah, I
you
know
sit
that.
there and
I
your mouth is moving, but nothing's happening. Maybe
yeah,
maybe a phone
okay.
call. Maybe a phone call can save this program since we've only been on for 10 minutes. We're already in the dumper. Let's take
Oh
a
no,
let's
not
take
that bad.
let's take a call. 522 talk is the number. 522-8255. Caller, can you save us in any way possible?
Yeah, I can save the beginning part of the show. I can save it. For sure.
Good. All right, good. Thank you,
Yeah.
boy. We need it.
This is Aaron, and I just want to let everybody know, and I hope everybody already does know, but I'm going to call every hour on the hour and hammer this home. Giant bicycle manufacturer company has moved out of China to Taiwan, and other companies are following suit. So Trump is winning.
All right. Well, you can't call every hour because you'd be double dipping, but you can text
I'm going
us.
to quadruple dip, but I'm going to do it from somebody else's phone, and I'm going to use an alias.
Oh, okay.
And I identify.
Okay, well, try a Chinese next time. Try a Chinese dialect.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, Chinese dialect, very good.
light.
You can be someone from China.
I identify as somebody else every hour.
Okay.
Right. But hey, you guys should talk about that.
Yeah. No.
Somebody's rich in China.
Well, yeah, they are. Well, we're not. We don't have Mike McCormick tomorrow, so we're going to talk a lot about the markets and things probably tomorrow, maybe more than today. But we should mention that at least. Yeah, China's currency bad. Their GDP is down. Their, as you mentioned, people are leaving China, and it's a deal.
But Giants, their stock value went up. I think 50%. Well, you should have your Shane there, look and see what their stock went up. I guess it went up like 50%.
Yeah.
So just by saying they're leaving.
What was the name of the company?
It's Giant Bicycle Company, manufacturer, whatever it is. Giant Bicycle.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Have a good day, guys.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call, Aaron. All right.
Yep.
See you later. All right, we will. Shane will look that up. We'll talk about it, and I'll get over to the day in history that we got to talk about here in a minute. So I'll zip over to that, and let's see. 1812, the United States declared war against Britain. That's the war. I never can remember what year it was. The War of 1812. I missed that on every test I've ever taken. I have no clue what it is. So.
Well, of course you did. This is it's important for a couple of reasons. Mm-hmm. It's important because it's the first declared war in your country, maybe. Mm-hmm. So they actually declared war in Britain. Yeah. They were helping out France because France not helping France out. I mean, they were the British were interfering with American shipping because of their war with Napoleon in France. And so that was a big problem. And then we had an Indian problem with the British that they were basically arming Indians in the Ohio Valley and so forth. So but it made President Jackson, famous.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, Andrew Jackson. Yeah, Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah, man, that's Stonewall Jackson.
All right, 1815, British and what?
Go ahead. Yeah, no, this was the end of Napoleon. It was the second. It was the second attack by Napoleon. He came back from Elba to Paris on the 20th of March, 1815, and raided and incredibly pursued the British and to start all over again. Like it was guy never gave up.
All right.
But, of course, it was a battle he lost against Wellington, one of the most famous, field marshals of British land.
Yeah, I've had their meat, I think.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, it ain't.
Oh, my. Here we go. Here we go.
Are we done there?
Here we go. Yeah, we're done there. Yeah.
It was a 7 or 8 word sentence. I don't know why we spent that much time. 1815, British and Prussian troops defeated the French under Napoleon Bonaparte at Waterloo in Belgium.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
pretty much speaks for itself, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I should just let you read the news and not comment. So
Well,
there
you can comment on it. It's just an awful lot on the 1812, but that's okay. Go ahead. What do you know about the British and the Prussian troops defeating the French under Napoleon, other than they did it?
Well, Bonaparte had an army of 73,000, and Wellington had an army of 68,000. Blucher, who was the king of Prussia, had 50,000. So they just 168,000 to 73,000.
All right.
And oh, by the way, they were using flintlocks, which aren't accurate at greater distance than 75 yards, which is why they marched towards each other to fire.
Ah.
That's something people may not know.
So and the Prussians weren't the Russians, so don't get confused there.
That's right.
Yeah. 1873, suffragist Susan B. Anthony was fined $100. That was pretty good money in 1873. $100 for attempting to vote in the 1872 presidential election. Woo.
That's right.
$100.
That's right. And
my inflation calculator doesn't go back to 1873. Otherwise, I go back. That's got to be like $2,000 or so, or something like that. Wouldn't you think, or $5,000? Or that's a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say, houses weren't $100 back then, probably.
Yeah,
so,
well, yeah,
that was a lot of money, I bet. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but she changed everything in the United States for women, and she was the first one to make sure that the value of women were considered, and that they were granted and should be granted equal rights, which happened 100 years ago.
Yeah.
99 years ago. But,
well, 47 years after she was fined, at least. So.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
A well-paid fine.
Yeah. 27, I guess. Yeah, 27 years. Yeah. 1928, aviator Amelia Earhart, we talked about her yesterday, became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic as she completed the flight from Newfoundland to Wales in about 21 hours. And I think Lindbergh went to Paris, didn't he?
He did, of course, yes.
And that was 33 hours. So
that's right.
They flew a little further than she did, but yeah.
And it took like 20 years for them to get the spirit of St. Louis back from the French. They didn't want to give it up.
Didn't want to give it up, yeah. Yeah, I think it's hanging in Lindbergh Field in St. Louis, or one of those fields.
Exactly.
That's where he took off from originally. Took off from St. Louis Airport and went to New York, and then flew from New York. Newfoundland.
And then Greenland. No, and then from Newfoundland all the way to across. That's right.
Yeah, to Paris. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in 1948, believe it or not, the United Nations, I'm going to wait on this one because we need to talk about this one. I'm going to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about the United Nations and how stupid they are right after this. 25 minutes after the hour, it's Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, 51 degrees outside. Shane Taubman is on the line with me in Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. Not Vancouver, Shane is half man, half amazing.
Well, I attempt to be.
Keeping my grammar proper.
That's right.
He was shot in the foyer. Where is your foyer exactly?
The foyer.
The foyer. Okay. Well, the giant bicycle is Lee and Fung Limited. Their stock price is $1.18, and they have gone up 7.27% since announcing they're going to move all their production to Taiwan because of the 25% tariffs that Trump is threatening on Chinese products. So let's call that a win.
That's a win, baby.
That's it. So these companies don't want to pay that. They know how to react to this. And that's exactly what's happening. And now China's lost its largest bicycle maker. So why not? Sounds good.
And it's only the beginning.
Yeah. Sounds like a deal to me. Well, back to our on this day. The reason I wanted to wait on this one is because we need a little discussion on it before the bottom of the hour, coming up here pretty quick. But 1948, the United Nations Commission on Human Rights adopted the International Declaration of Human Rights, and I'd encourage everybody to go over and do a search for this document because it has things in it like women have equal rights and everybody gets to vote and everybody gets to do this and you can carry firearms and all that stuff, except of course in the Middle East or Russia or China or Cuba or wherever, Syria.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh,
and the United Nations just says, I don't know.
Yeah, all of which these countries have these same rights in their constitution.
That's right. Oh well, look at the North Korean Constitution. Yeah. Everybody is free as a bird there, man. You can do whatever you want to do.
That's right.
That's right. Only 323 firing squad sites are there. So.
You can do whatever you want under the watchful eye of the government.
That's for sure. So I don't know, man. That document is about as weak as I don't know, the off-brand of Charmin, I guess.
well, that's why Crazygate is so weird, because Americans hate being called a banana republic.
Well, yeah.
This thing, right? Well, it's because, and that's why. I mean, there's so many of them around.
Well, California is pretty well a banana republic right now. They got the highest poverty in the nation. They got the highest homeless in the nation. They've got
most debt.
Yeah, the most debt in the nation. Yeah.
The GDP. I mean, it's not good.
They suck. Yeah. 1948, Columbia Records unveiled its new long-playing 33 1/3 RPM phonograph record. And how would you like to be born and living before that, Shane, like I was?
I just thought it was great. Like, we'd go and buy that baby for a nickel.
Yep.
And there'd be 2 songs on it.
Yeah. There you go.
And it was just the rush of all time, because, it's the biggest song on the radio and you're listening at home.
That's right.
On your $5.95 turntable from Japan.
Whenever you wanted to listen to it, too. That was the deal, man. You could play it over and over and over, and your parents would go crazy.
Those were the days.
Pick another song.
That's right. Those were the days of giant flashlights, under your covers in your bedroom, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, bottom of the hour is coming up here. We got Montana State News, Fox News, Brooke Foster Weather, Yellowstone Motors, and all kinds of stuff. So we'll be right back with more of that right after this. So stay tuned. 23 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, 52 degrees outside. Shane Mataman on the line, half man, half amazing, in Cantaloupes, or Cantaloupe, or
It's the Loop. We're up in the Loop.
The Loops, Canopies, somewhere he's up there. I don't know.
Loops, Canopies.
I don't know. Who knows where he is? He's in witness protection anyway, so we never know where he's going to be.
All I know is it's 80 and sunny here. What's it there?
Well, you don't want to know.
Okay.
Well, it's 52 right now.
Oh, well, lucky you.
But the moon was shining and the sun was coming up when I came to work. So
well, there you go.
Or came to play, I guess. I hardly call this work. 1979, President Jimmy Carter and Soviet President Leonid Brezhnev signed the SALT II Strategic Arms Elimination Treaty in Vienna. Quite a coup for Carter.
It was quite a coup. But, of course, remember, it was Nixon that opened up China and Russia to this.
Yep.
And pretty much his famous Secretary of State, and him that negotiated these treaties. And then they went on to... have a huge influence and impact on the Reagan administration, and they resulted in basically the collapse of the nuclear threat, and both countries destroying vast numbers of nuclear weapons. At one time, there were over 60,000 individual nuclear weapons on the planet.
Yep.
Pretty amazing, actually.
Quite a few, yep. Well, in 1983, astronaut Sally Ride became the first woman in space, as she and 4 colleagues blasted off aboard the Space Challenger, Shuttle Challenger, I should say. I'll get it in a minute. Jeez. I hate Tuesday. Tuesday sucks.
I like the way you read backwards. I think it's great when you read backwards.
I don't have a clue what I'm reading here. Go for it. Well, the Challenger was ill-fated, that's for sure. And
she served on the committee for both the Challenger and the Columbia accident, or disasters, I guess you call them. She lived to 61. Regrettably, she died of pancreatic cancer. But
wow,
it's amazing that in that generation, ours, created not just all these great men as astronauts, but all the women astronauts. Wow, it's so cool.
Yeah, well, that's certainly true. So, let's see. 2002, on this day, a Palestinian detonated a nail-studded bomb in a Jerusalem bus, killing 19 passengers and himself. So.
Yeah, well, this is the only reason this is in the news, and regrettably to point it out, is they start putting projectiles in their explosives. That's why this is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And,
it was nail studded. Yeah, so that was the problem. 2000
collateral damage.
Yeah, 2004. European Union leaders agreed on the first constitution for the bloc's 25 members.
Which is in itself an accomplishment. I mean, they started this thing on the 1st of January, 1958, with the Treaty of Rome, and then they had a treaty, the Maastricht Treaty of the 1st of November, 93, that went into effect 99, and the Treaty of... I mean, these people can get together and talk about treaties more than anybody else in the world.
I know, man. They love it over there. It's Treaty Central. They got a store. They got a store where you can go in, or you can buy legal forms. They got a whole section of treaties you can buy over there. Yeah.
And how to draft your own too, because
Yeah. Well, you got to know how to do that. So
you can't use theirs.
No. God, heaven forbid. Yeah, right. 2006, Bishop Catherine Jefferts Shorey was elected the first female presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, the U.S. arm of the Global Anglican Communion. What a mouthful.
In a matter of speaking. Okay. So, the key about this is, being an Episcopalian or an Anglican, it's sort of like, it's like Catholic light, right?
Yeah.
It's not hardcore Catholic.
You're Catholic light.
Yeah, you're Catholic light.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So. That's why they allow these sort of things in gay marriage now and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. You're gonna have spam. You're gonna have spam on Friday. Yeah.
That's spam on Friday. Yeah. Oh my God! You're gonna some Hawaiian spam. I'm gonna send you some Hawaiian spam.
I like spam. I've got spam at home, man. It's good stuff.
22 varieties in Hawaii for it.
Oh, I know. It's spam central over there. They love it. Yeah.
It keeps the company going.
I know.
Incredible.
Just Hawaii alone, they could do business just there if they had to. So, yeah. Oh, well, there's no notable birthdays today. I don't know. Is Henry Clay Folger born on this date? Would he be Folger Coffee? It doesn't say.
No.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Let's just guess. We're getting this is not fake news. This is guess news.
It's not like anybody's going to go check.
That's what I mean. This is guess news, folks. So sounds like Folgers died on this day.
Yeah. Well, the other one is Fifan Prokopovich. Yeah, I like that name.
That's
Russian Orthodox Archbishop and ally of Peter the Great. And then Anastasia was also born today. Died at 17. She was the big deal of Russian daughter Tsar Nicholas II.
Wow. And the big man died today, the American saxophonist, Clarence Clemens, who played for Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. So
there you go.
All you saxophone lovers out there, and a lot of women love the saxophone.
They do, yeah. All right.
Like Barry White.
Well, that's why Clinton. That was why Clinton was elected.
That's right.
A saxophone playing on whatever he played on. Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more right after this. 12 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, 53 degrees outside. Shane Matobin's been entertaining a caller. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
I was attempting to brainwash Shane.
Okay, good deal. He needs it.
I told him that the Anglicans and the German Protestants were almost 500 years behind the Orthodox Russians, Greeks, and Armenians, Syrians in objecting to the power of the Catholic Church.
Says the Angolans were behind, Shane. 500 years behind.
500
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
You see, in 1052, there was a thing called the Great Schism. And they said the Pope doesn't have the authority to do squat. And they also said their priests have the right to be married. Don't you think married priests would have helped the Catholic Church with their diddling scandal?
Oh, yeah. I do. I do think so.
Why, do you know why they stopped allowing their priests to marry?
Well, the public story is they're supposed to devote their life to God and not to the church and not to an individual or family or wife or children or whatever.
But they were having to divide the estate. When the priests died, they owned the churches and they owned the areas. The priests were like little feudal lords in those days.
Well, yeah,
So
they were. Yeah, they were. They were.
They would have to divide them among the heirs.
Yeah.
That's why they stopped.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go.
And the other thing Shane and I talked about, if Anastasia was 17 and today is the day of her death, that means that today is the day of the Bolshevik slaughter of the royal Russian family.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
See, you learn something every day.
Amen to that. Well, that's why we're here. Thanks. All right.
All right.
Well, Rosendale back in the news, Shane.
Yes, indeed.
Running for Greg Gianforte's U.S. representative seat, and he will go up against who? Corey? Yeah, Corey Stapleton.
Is it Corey Stapleton?
Yeah, Corey Stapleton and Williams.
Oh, that's a three-way race, so he could win actually against split vote on the other side, right?
Well, Williams is a Democrat, so it's two against one at least so far. So
that's right, 2 Democrats against 1, right?
No, it's 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Williams is a Democrat, and Corey and Rosendale are both Republicans.
Oh, I thought Corey was a Democrat. My mistake. I apologize.
Nope, he is not, or at least not. Well, I don't know. He's
Well,
running as a Republican. Who knows? Who knows what he is? We don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the other thing, too, we had some tornado-looking clouds. They were just wind funnels. They're fairly common in Montana and even in the southwest part of the state. The first time we've heard of them here, I'm pretty sure that we had a tornado out in our area because it took down trees across the street from us that were 30 feet tall. And
really?
It dropped several trees a few years back. And we stood in our front doorway and watched it.
You got to be kidding.
We didn't realize what it was, but apparently it missed us and went across the street. But there was, I don't know, some of the homes were damaged from trees falling on them, but these trees fell or leaned quite a bit. so yeah, they were. It was pretty interesting. So, but I think that's the closest we've seen, or at least I've seen, to anything like a tornado up here. Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? It's just, I've never had any experience with tornadoes
Mm-hmm.
down in Billings, but we did watch some funnel clouds fly over when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know, it was so incredible because the big lightning storms out on the prairies where you'd see the lightning hit the ground. And, you know, it was just so incredible. Like, it just, what a wonder it was for me as a kid.
Oh, yeah. No, it was growing up in Southern Illinois, we had lots of them. I was in one, my bedroom window blew out all over me in my bedroom. And
ouch.
And it took a bunch of trees out of our front yard. We had a pretty good sized front yard, and we had several 20, 30-foot tall trees there, and took them all down.
Ouch.
And,
that kind of stuff is like scary. It really is as a kid. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah.
You try to deal with these things as positively as you can, but it's like, wow. That's
pretty scary. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially after watching The Wizard of Oz.
Right. Yeah.
Where am I going?
Well, I don't know. You know, growing up as a sibling, I did wish someone would drop a house on my sister, but but that's a whole nother story, I guess.
It is. Yeah. Back then, our sisters were winches or witches, not wenches.
Yeah, they were witches for sure.
Yeah, they were witches. Yeah.
All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
Great.
We'll be right back. 2 minutes before the top of the hour, Shane and Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver. Well, he's from Cantaloupe.
Oh, come on, guys. Yeah, the Loops, baby.
The Loops. He's up in the Loops or somewhere where there's I don't know. There's a couple of caribou. It's about all that live there, I think.
Hey, we have Tim Hortons up here, buddy. What do you? Oh, you have Starbucks.
You got a Tim Hortons. All right.
Several.
Didn't they buy Burger King or Burger something? Didn't they buy one of the burger joints?
You're so funny. You're great. You're
know.
The best.
What can I tell you? All right.
All right, this week, come on, let's go. Pop it up.
This week what?
I don't know.
Oh.
Things to know today.
Oh.
Isn't that where we're at now?
Well, we need to finish up some local news, and then we'll do the five. The 5 things you need to know because we're out of time in this particular segment. Because
that's right. Because you got to talk about Livingston.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. The parade route still going. We're still fighting over the parade route over there, so we got to talk.
Yeah, that's right.
We got to talk about that when we come back. They had a big trout derby over there on Saturday, too. So
yeah, and they're setting up new standards that, like, the pooper scoopers have to do zigzags now.
Oh, all right. Well, I can't wait to hear more about that. So, all right, we'll be back with more. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Glad you're along with us. Thanks very much for coming along with us. Hey, our poll question of the day, how much did your property taxes go up? Go over to KMMSAM.com or AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone and vote. 6 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, 57 degrees outside. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor, and one of the hosts of the KMMS Morning Show with Tom and Shane. And Shane and Tom, of course, is in Canada.
Being an alien.
He's an alien in Canada. Got no documentation whatsoever.
Not even a green card.
Not even a green card. Gee whiz.
Yeah, I remember when I first had my business in the U.S., I actually got cards with green backing instead of white.
Oh, yeah?
And people would always say to me, well, why is this green? It's a green card.
Yeah, it's greenback.
Yeah, it's greenback. Yeah, and money, honey.
Well, I don't know if you were with us yesterday, but we asked our poll question, who will be Montana's next governor? 400 of you or more voted, and that's still open. If you want to go over and vote, that's still open at KMMSAM.com or on your smartphone. Just go over and look under Tom's blogs, and you'll find all of our poll questions there. But yesterday, Greg Gianforte led most of the day, but overnight, Tim Fox took the lead, 38% to 31% for Gianforte. Al Olszewski was next, 13%. Mike Cooney, 8%, and Casey Schreiner, 3%, and Riley Neal, the Democrat from Livingston, at 2%. And then we had some others. Jesse Lasovich was a write-in, so was Joe Crowder. Ron Ely, somebody said Democrats, any Democrat would work. And Steve Daines was also a write-in for governor. So, but that poll is still open. Our poll going on right now, how much did your property tax go up? Also at KMMSAM.com and over at AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone. 3% said their taxes went up less than $400. Less than 800 was one, 1,500 was one, and over 2,000 was one. So,
bingo.
So, and one person, none went up. They had a write-in of none. It didn't go up on their particular property. So, I guess it depends on where you are and your assessment and all of that. So,
and how upset you are.
Yeah, but that poll is also still open at KMMSAM.com and on your smartphone at KMMS or AM 1450 KMMS. So get over there and check that out, and we'll be happy to report those as they go along. The other thing that's going on in the news probably won't affect too many people, but they're rebuilding an entry. The back door of the high school is now going to be the front door of the high school. So what a deal. You can't beat that. So they're going to upgrade Ruth Thibault Way, which goes behind the high school there, into a 2-lane highway. And it'll be a drop-off for people who drive their kids to school, whatever. And but they've got to get that done by school starting in September. So they're going to make a wider 2-way street there, and it'll help transform what has been the back door into the new entryway, and it's got to be finished before school starts in 3 months. So if you want to know why your property taxes went up, you're expanding the high school, you're building a new high school, and you're building a new safety building. So welcome to Montana. Well, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Well, it sounds to me like what you're talking about is money.
Money, I love money.
Well, of course, Clint. You know, the mayor is explaining to us that the architects now have to change the drawings to give to the contractor, who have to have it all approved by the commission to change the front door. And how much is it going to cost? Oh, it'll be, they're like $2 or $3 million, right, Clint? They'll charge.
Well, America's wonderful, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, that we change our minds so often.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to pay. You can have anything you want, Clint. Just bring the money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, I got something that's really, I'm going to change the subject just a little bit.
Go for it.
I've got a couple of 2004 Chevrolet pickups.
Yeah.
Okay. And I bought them. They're used. I bought them used. I bought one from a banker and I bought one from Wrestler. Now, this here, you know how much a new Silverado 4-door Chevrolet pickup costs nowadays?
With or without heated cup holders and heated seats?
Well, mine has that. Anyway.
What about $54,000?
Yeah. Okay. Now, this white one I got belonged to Marcia Ferraro down here at the bank, and I bought it from Wrestler, and she had just traded it in. And anyway, I've had really good luck. The truck is, I got to admit, the motors and stuff in these new trucks are wonderful. But the guy that invented the paint scheme and the paint to put on these Chevrolets and Dodges, I had a 94 Dodge, a 3500 series. Now, we live in a cold country, is that right?
I was just going to ask you, have you looked at the map where you live?
Yeah. Okay, we live in a cold country. What kind of an idiot, I'd call the engineer an idiot, would use a water-based paint on metal?
Okay.
The 2004 blue one, my heavy-duty 3/4 ton with that great big gas-burning engine in it, And my other one, it makes 21, 22 miles to gallon. It's the big Silverado too, and the paint on both of them are falling off. And I sold my '94 Dodge, and the paint was falling off it. Now we live in a cold country, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, now I can understand a water-based paint being painted on a house because generally the house will absorb water.
Right.
But how does metal absorb water? And the freezing conditions, on and off, hot and cold, hot and cold. How do you take a water-based paint on metal?
Yeah. Well, I confess I'm ignorant of the painting processes of General Motors or anybody else, but
well, I got.
But I can tell you, Clint. Let me tell you my story now.
Okay.
So my story is after 9/11 in 2001.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be a good Canadian and I'd go out and I'd buy an American car in October of 2001.
Okay.
So I bought a Tahoe, a big huge Tahoe, GM 2000. Still on the road. My daughter's driving and with her kids. 345,000 kilometers. That's like 240,000 miles.
That's wonderful. They make wonderful engines and transmissions and everything like that. I will agree.
It's amazing.
So has it got Canadian paint, Shane? Does it have Canadian paint on it or what?
Yes, the kids paint on it all the time. It's white.
Oh, okay.
Well, mine is white. My half ton is white. Okay, and on the hood. And the other day I'm going down the road, and it's never been hurt. Here I'm whizzing down to Canyon Noble. Okay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I seen this thing flapping in the back of in the back of the rear view mirror, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And so I pulled over and I stopped. Guess what? It stripped the paint off the top, clear down. It cleared down to the back.
And it's hanging over the back window.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm saying to myself,
What kind of an idiot would buy a car with water-based paint?
Yeah, that's you're talking to him. You're talking to him.
You know what? It's just a white car, right? That was the color white.
It's white. It's original paint.
Also, what you had was you had a flag of surrender flapping in the back of your car. That's why no one honked.
That's what.
No one honked because they figured you were surrendering.
Well, it was primer. They didn't get to the real paint job.
Well,
primer on there. That's
I'm a damn rebel anyway. I'm kind of a. I don't know what you call me. I'm just old. That's all. Well, yeah. But any time that a man goes out and spends that kind of money for a brand new truck. Now, yes, and then have the damn paint come off of it, And now I got a '69 International. I'm telling my truck stories here today.
All right.
And the paint on it, God darn it, is just like the day it was new. And I could take some polishing compound and polish it and come out and look like new.
Also, it's covered in dirt, and you never wash it, and don't take it to the washer or anything. You just let it be.
Oh no, I keep mine pretty good,
Oh,
I've had it. I have had it for many. Oh, I've had it 50 years probably. But anyway, what I'm trying to say.
Does the missus drive your truck?
Yeah, she drives the white one. Yeah. She's a half ton. She drives it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't understand these environmental people. I guess they got away from the lead-based paint because the kids were chewing on the windowsills, in the houses.
Yeah.
So that was whacking the kids, I guess. Didn't whack mine.
Well, a lot of people have garages and that kind of thing, where they're kept out of the weather. We got a carport, and our paint's held up pretty well on our...
Well, what I was wondering is this engineer and these environmentalists that got out of the lead, is there anybody out there in these environmental community who wants to paint my two trucks?
I'm sure there are.
Well, I think there should be.
If you provide the brushes and the paint, I'll paint it.
Yeah. Well, now listen, we got to have a good paint job.
You got to put a little sign out there that says bikinis only.
Yeah, there you are.
A man ought to take and put a sign on this. They used to paint cars and trucks yellow when they were lemon.
Yeah.
Well, the trucks, both of them, all three of them were wonderful trucks. Like Shane says, the engines. Whoever engineered these engines really knew what he was doing, because both of them's got over 200,000 miles on them two Chevys too.
Yep, they are pretty good these days.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But the big ones with the great big 6.8 liter or whatever it is engine in it.
Yep.
The gas burner is 10 mile a gallon, but the other will make 20, 21 miles. And I'm perfectly satisfied, but I'm not satisfied with the engineering that engineered the paint to overcome the lead paint that's painted these cars.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Clint, in California, Earl Scheib painted my Mazda for $99.95.
$99.95?
Yep.
Hey, let's go to California.
That was back in 1983, I think, or 82. But yeah, Earl. I'll paint any car. Yeah. I'll paint any car for $99.95.
Well, now it's in Montana.
Like those famous car salesmen on California
That's
ads,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Like, it was like great. Like
Cal Worthington and his dog Spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, here in Montana now, it's a $2,000 bill.
There you go. Well, yeah, it will be. Yeah.
It takes about 20 of them Ben Franklins, paint on them anymore. And got it for $99 in California, huh?
I gotta go, Clint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah, I just thought I'd change the subject and bitch a little bit about.
Well, there you go. Hey, it's Tuesday. All views are welcome here. You know that.
Well, I don't like crying too much, but anyway, that when you put a water-based paint on metal, if somebody's head was up there, you know what.
There you go. Hey, thanks for the call. We got a call waiting, Shane. If you'll talk to them, we'll be right back in 3 minutes. 22 minutes after the hour, it is Tuesday, June 18th, 2019. Shane Thomasman on the line with a caller. And caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
99.95, no ups, no downs, and no extras.
There you are.
Guaranteed to let your paint. Hey, they used to have the same problem with the peeling paint when GM was doing this back in the 80s and actually the early 90s.
Yeah.
And the primers were not compatible. Now I got the same problem on an old Subaru on a '98 Subaru. It peels at certain areas there too.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe on these newer vehicles, you used to be able to go back and get some kind of compensation from the manufacturer, and they'd give you a voucher and you'll get your cars repainted.
Yeah.
You had to look up their unadvertised warranties.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if it was under 100,000 or 75,000 miles or something like that.
Or it might have been a recall, too. You never know.
Yeah, that's where you have to go get your
you got to go look. You got to go look.
And you got to keep looking, you know. But I was telling Shane, Clint's got to go easy on the water base because, you got a local advertiser here on this very radio station that advertises. They were the first to do water-based paints in town, So you better know your ABCs before you start learning out your 1, 2s, and 3s on what your vehicle's worth.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see, from our text line, tell Clint it's not the paint, it's the preparation before the paint. I remember when Earl Scheib would paint any car, any color for $19.95. A great deal if you didn't mind paint on the windshield and the door handles. Yeah, I remember that. To Clint, the problem isn't the engineer. Your benevolent government mandates the type of paint that goes on your truck. So there you go. Let's see. Yeah, that'll do it. For that, anyway.
That's right.
All right. Let's see. Back to local stuff. We were talking about the getting into the school. Speaking of the school, of course.
Yeah.
We have. They're ready to pick a new superintendent. They got the three stooges ready to go. I guess. You got Sarah Brown, resources director of the 48,000 school, a student Manatee County School District in Florida. They got Bob Connors, superintendent of Glasgow School, 842 students up there. And Christopher Hines, he's got a 63,000 student in group in Texas. So Tuesday they're going to figure this out. Trustees are scheduled to meet at 5:45 in the boardroom at Wilson School to decide whether to hire one of the three finalists for the job or to choose an interim superintendent. internally and launch a new search that could take several months instead of a few weeks. So they're clueless. They don't know what they want to do.
All I know is the two requirements for me to pick one of them is A, did they cut the cost of the schools they operate or save money? And two, did they reduce the amount of taxes constantly being required in the school district they're in, or do they spend more money? That's all I would want to look at.
Yeah, there you are. Okay, so. Well, City of Livingston denied the Livingston Area Chamber of Commerce second request to use Park Street as part of its Roundup Parade route. City commissioners, city staff, and members of the chamber met Wednesday afternoon to hash out a compromise on the route. A tentative agreement was reached when City Manager Michael Cardoz said he was fairly confident the concern the police chief had been addressed. So the plan was to shut down a small stretch of Park Street, use the southern lane and parking spots for the floats, and keep the northern lanes open for emergency vehicles. So with all the factors considered, the chief said will not permit a closure of Park Street in any manner, wholly or partially. The city's press release on the matter read, the city stands for with our police chief and in the belief that a closure of Park Street is detrimental to timely response within our community and presents an unacceptable risk to safety. So they had no problem when the state was paying the liability on it, but now all of a sudden we seem to have a problem over there. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Anyway, it's I don't know. Sad situation.
No, wait a second. Come on.
Yeah.
Seriously, this is a big decision.
Yeah, this is pretty big. Well,
okay.
yeah, I mean, come on. This is, this isn't any parade, this is the Roundup parade. So,
okay.
It's not like it's 4th of July or anything like that, this is a big deal.
I'm sure the parade is huge, but picking the route is this is that difficult for them to decide?
Well, I don't know what to tell you, but
I don't either.
Well, they want the businesses, they want the people lined up on the Park Street where the businesses are. That's what they want.
We talked about that.
That's what they want, but which was perfectly fine when the state was paying the liability for it if anything happened to anybody on Park Street. But now, since the Livingston's got to pay for it themselves, the police chief says, "Hey, I'm not going to do that."
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah.
I mean, gee whiz, at the Raptors thing, they had 4 people shot. So
they did.
Yeah, did you hear about that?
Oh wow, no, I didn't.
They had a million people there. They're scattered like ants.
In Toronto. Okay, so.
Yeah.
So my question is, the street they're talking about having the parade on, is it also a commercial street downtown?
Well, I think it's a state route, actually, which is why the state paid the liability before.
No, but is it a commercial or?
It's business. It's a business section. Yeah, and that's why they want it there, because the people will line up, and when the parade's done, they'll go in and buy stuff.
That's Park Street.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the.
Oh, the other street isn't. No, it's not a No, it's not a commercial street. It's like, I don't know. It's like a street in Cantaloops might be.
All right,
There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
It's residential then. Okay.
Well, it might be bare ground for all I know.
Bare ground.
Plenty of room to stand.
That's good. I like that.
We'll be right back with more right after this. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, 62 degrees outside. Looking for a high in the mid-70s today. And Shane Mataban on the line with me, half man, half amazing. And Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor. And more on Livingston. Their suggestions included shutting down 2nd and Main Street between Callender and Park Street, just north of the parade's recommended alternative route, and allowing businesses affected by the rerouting to set up booths. They come out and put a booth up, Shane.
So that makes a lot of sense. So now all the people that would be on the sidewalk in front of the shop will be pushed onto the street to watch the parade.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
because they'll have booze set up on the street.
Yeah.
Well, or the booze will be in the street. I don't know, one or the other.
I don't know. They'll have to make a decision on that one.
Yeah, but anyway, the Livingston Bar and Grill was already for this. They're going to they want to set up an outdoor bar on Main Street. No liability there, I'm sure. But see if this sounds familiar. You can't have a street party. These businesses are already short-staffed, and some don't have the catering license needed.
All right, more money. That's right, to the city.
So you got to go down and get a catering license for this parade.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. Let's go to the phones and see if anybody can save us here. 522 Talk is the number. Call you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What is up?
Well, I guess I'm not going to Livingston for the parade.
Well, not unless you're gonna stand by the bar there.
Well, yeah, if the bar's there.
I mean, if this is what they have to do to solve this problem, oh my gosh, aren't you worried about serious concerns or issues they're trying to solve? I mean, it's like, whoa.
Well, we haven't even got to the wastewater rate hikes yet.
Oh my God!
New age politics. Anyway, I was wondering if either one of you guys read the story in the Times on Saturday about the cyber attacks.
Yes.
Okay, where were these cyber attacks? Because I wouldn't read that commie pinko rag.
Well, yeah, I know, but it was actually brought up on another site. But they basically said that we're at war with Russia. We have launched a cyber attack against their power grid. And they also said that they had hacked into our voting machines for the 2016 election. Now,
I don't think the voting machines are online.
No,
they're not online. That's a bogus story. That's a bogus story.
And I don't know that we're attacking Russia's power grid. Trump came out and tweeted that it was a lie. That it wasn't true. He probably should have gone on national TV and made that statement.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if the New York Times is going to write a story, write about the story with people that the states are having people vote online. You know how that could be hacked. Why aren't they talking about that? Oh, because the Democrats want to push that.
Yeah.
So people that aren't American can vote. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
The thing is, there's two things here. That story, A, had to be leaked. Somebody gave that to Times. Their illustrious reporters didn't go out and dig that up. A, and B, that's an act of war. If that's what's going on, that's an act of war.
I would think so, yeah.
So,
well, I think
that's true.
I think the people who are manning the voting machine should have name tags, and if you see Ivan or Boris, then you kind of have a clue, that maybe the Russians might be there.
Let's put the loggers back to work and have some paper ballots and hang on to them.
That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice.
But
didn't they have a moose with them on that cartoon, Boris? And there was a moose.
Boris
on
and
it?
Natasha, yeah. Boris and Natasha,
yeah. They ran chaos. Whew, imagine that.
Right.
They called it chaos. Oh,
that's
boy.
exactly right. You picked up on it. You know me and Tom now. You know how we think.
Yep. Well, that's propaganda, baby. They went right down the cartoons. They could get them while they're young. But
we get squirrel and moose.
Either way on the story, that's treason one way or the other. To leak the story if it's true, and to make it up if it isn't true. Well, I think Trump's yes, and I think Trump is correct. Now
of course, they got a paper they got to fill. I mean, if it wasn't for Trump, can you imagine what would they be talking about? Oh my God.
Well, I don't know. I guess
Weiner. They'd be talking about Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, maybe.
My pick for the leak is probably one of the Pearl Worms or Bill Kristol, Bolton, one of those guys.
Oh yeah.
That put that out there. I mean, but that's serious stuff. I mean, that's and so now you got to ask yourself, well, does Putin believe this story in the Times or not? If he does, there could be problems.
Well, we better find out who it is. So
Yeah,
we can
well, I'm guessing it's a neocon.
I would imagine, yeah.
And they all are. You got Bolton, Name, and Pearl, Worms, and Crystal, and a whole list.
Yeah.
And the Democrats. They've been trying to get into a war with Russia since day one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, just a little New York Times trivia for you. A Sunday edition can have 1,800 pages and weigh 12 pounds. So if you're a paper boy, guess what?
You can only have 3
you don't want to
customers.
deliver. You don't want to deliver the Times on Sunday.
You can only have 3 customers. You're out of luck. There ain't no money in that.
There's no money in that.
Well, you gentlemen have a nice day.
We will.
I'm working on something even better.
Ooh.
But I got to clean up my notes, though.
We can't wait. We can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. It's pretty serious stuff.
All right. Well.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Have a good one.
We're hanging on the edge for you, Pete. Thanks a lot.
All righty.
Take care. All right. We got to take another quick break. We'll be right back. 13 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, June 18, 2019, 64 degrees outside. The only possible good thing about Tuesday is Jeff Krauss is in the house in about 15 minutes or so, but he's here now.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here early. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we were talking about, you're aware of the dispute over in Livingston about the route. The parade route, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We went through our own little parade wars over here. I think, sometimes the people downtown, the shop owners don't like the road being closed off if you can't. Frustrates people, customers that would come down otherwise. But I think, generally speaking, our parades bring a lot of people down.
I was going to say, the merchants, I would think, like Christmas stroll and buy to Bozeman and those kinds of things, if they've got the staff to man the store.
Well, they pay to put them on, right? It is the downtown business owners that cough up the money for the organization that puts that on. So generally they
have,
sponsor
cops
them.
there, and you got to have you got to have cleanup and other stuff, I guess, that have costs.
Now, ever since it started, the Memorial Day parade costs have been picked up by the city. That's just the cost. We pay the overtime because it's Memorial Day, it's a holiday,
right?
For the city crews and everybody to be down there.
They're time and a half, aren't they, on a holiday?
I'm sure they are. Yeah,
I would hope so.
Isn't that double time and a half? Double time and a half. Anyway, always work for that double time and a half, right? Yeah. The last Monday. Memorial Day Monday, I saw Chief Crawford doing crowd control, all those rowdy patriots out there celebrating Memorial Day or honoring Memorial Day. Yeah. I don't think it's a celebration as much as it is an honoring, but that's happened. But I think, the coffee shops and the restaurants are packed because everybody comes downtown and then the parade's over and they go in. So, and then, if you got to go to Owen House, it's right there.
Yep.
So,
restaurants, and you're ready for a late breakfast, early lunch, whatever. So you're piling into those places.
I think you can have too many of them, but in general, I think it's a good idea to have events downtown to get people used to coming downtown. Yeah. I think.
Well, you have Sweet Pea. You got you got the Memorial Day parade. You got the stroll. You got the Bite of Bozeman. You got something almost every month.
Yeah. No. Well, a couple of them are runs, and we don't.
Well, that's true, but
there's not. There's not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the bigger thing.
The car show.
Yeah.
The cancer support community / downtown Bozeman car show. That's a great event, man. Yeah. I really like that. Yeah. So, I think one of the things we talk about with Midtown is how do we incentivize people going down there? Do you have a rod run on Friday nights in the summer? Or what do you do to get people to come down? Pop-up art show? I don't know. Something.
One of those, huh?
Yeah. To get people to come downtown. So I think it's important that people get in the habit of going somewhere, and then once they're there, then they think, oh, I'll go to that restaurant, or I'll go to that bar, or I'll go to that retail establishment because I like going down there.
Yeah,
it's important.
We got to take a quick break here, and Our who will be the Montana's next governor poll from yesterday is still open, so you can still go over and vote. Tim Fox leading 38% to Gianforte 31%. Then Al Olszewski is 13%, almost 14%. Mike Cooney is 8%, and Casey Schreiner is 3%, and Riley Neal is 2%. And our poll today, how much did your property taxes go up? Well, we've got 37% said less than 400, 25% said other, and we had at least one or 12.5% for over 2,000, 1,500, or less than 800. So we'll talk about a little bit about that with Jeff at the 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah, what we're talking about is property tax reappraisals and the MDO, Department of Revenue's estimate of what your taxes will be.
Right. So there you go. We'll be right back right after this. 4 minutes before the top of the hour, Jeff Krauss is in the house with us. Kind of here a little early today, and that's fine. Come in whenever you like. You know? Hey, you're always welcome here.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I was just mentioning we had our votes on our poll question: who will be Montana's next governor? Yeah, we're up over 400 responses to that, and Tim Fox is in the lead over Greg Gianforte, 38% to 31%. So we'll see how that plays out in real life. Well, I guess we got a few primaries and other stuff to go through first, don't we?
Yeah, a whole painful process.
Like that. Well, Livingston City Commission, they want to pass a resolution to raise solid waste collection and disposal rates and water rates, as well as tacking on a recycling fee. So, welcome to Livingston.
You know, the recycling is very interesting. In Bozeman, if you want to do recycling, you can either take it to one of those recycling drop-offs, or you can pay a private, or you can pay the government to come recycle your stuff. And in all of those,
the city does recycling, doesn't
we
it?
do,
Yeah.
and that has to stand on its own 2 feet. In other words, we're not charging a recycling fee unless you have a tub, a second container that you use to recycle. So if you want to call the city and say, I want to be in recycling, you call the city and they bring you a green as opposed to the blue garbage one. And so you put them both out.
And they've started taking glass too, haven't they not?
No.
Well, Pacific is taking glass, I think. We did a story on that. They've been doing it for a year. They've been taking glass, I think.
Well,
I didn't think anybody took glass.
I don't know of anyone taking glass.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that. It was in the.
You recycle everything. You put it all in the. Yeah. And they take it out to Four Corners Recycling, and I think you need to understand though that the markets are drying up. Cardboard market's drying up. The plastics are drying up. Pretty soon, you're only going to be able to throw away milk jugs
or aluminum cans and
aluminum cans and because
you don't get much for that either.
So the recycling is driven by the demand for recycled material, and if there is no demand for recycled material, there's not going to be much in the way of recycling. You have to do the other two, which are reduce or reuse. So that's aluminum. I think will always be available.
Well, they got a couple poachers over in Jackson, Wyoming, because they were dumb enough to put their pictures up on, they killed a mountain lion in the park. So they were stupid enough to put their pictures up on Spotify and Instagram and Facebook. And
because nobody ever would notice
Nobody would ever know that's illegal. And, of course, somebody in Bozeman saw the pictures and recognized the landscape of where they were and said, sorry, guys.
Good for them. Doggone it. Good for whoever recognized the landscape.
Yeah,
that's
they're going to get
great.
It's some 20-year-olds, couple 20-year-olds that did it. So they're from Livingston, of course. But
Livingston's making the news today.
Well, we're doing the Livingston paper, so that's where they are.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right, Shaman Taubman on the line with me somewhere in Canada in witness protection. Jeff Krauss will be in the house. We'll be right back. Thank you, Dan. Welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, 67 degrees outside. Shane Madalman on the line with me, half man, half amazing. And Jeff Krauss is in the house, three-time Mayor of Bozeman, current city commissioner, and Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor. And welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're glad you take the time. Let's see, from our text line, we're talking about property taxes or property values and whatever in our poll question. If you want to check out our poll question, KMMSAM.com or AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone. And we are asking the question, how much did your property taxes go up or increase, I should say? How much did they go up? And let's see, let me go back over to our our text line here. Let's see. Not sure I like the wording of your poll. Using the words less than minimizes the impact of the tax hikes. More than would be better. Could be, I guess. More than 100, more than 200, more than 300, more than 400, etc. So, okay, I could do that. My house is on Lammy Street in their 7th. Taxable value went from $35.74 to $54.01. Similar increase 2 years ago. I feel like I'm being squeezed by the mafia.
So yeah, I'm not sure I like the wording either.
Of the mafia or
no,
less than?
Your poll.
So
what everyone got today or this week, and in Missoula they got them last week, is they got the property tax reappraisal, the property reappraisal notice from the Montana Department of Revenue. Mm-hmm. And this is every 2 years, according to current law, your property gets reappraised to a market value. Mm-hmm. All property taxes are assessed on a taxable value, which is based on property on market value, right? Mm-hmm. Market value. So the Department of Revenue reappraises your property according to current market conditions. I believe the what you saw on Lammy, north of Main Street. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty typical of north of Main Street. In those residential neighborhoods, they likely saw somewhere between 50 and 100% increase in their property tax, in their property reappraisal.
Reappraisal, yeah.
Those properties got hot in the last year or two. You think about what happened down there on Wilson with those $1 million properties going up on Wilson Avenue. Mm-hmm. That's not going to slow the reappraisal of that property. So it's a big change over there. Probably remember the average increase in property reappraisal for Gallatin County is 23.5%. 23.5%.
Yeah.
What that translates in taxes, you won't know until your tax bill comes out in October. Remember, the city is proposing right now the budget is $121 increase for the typical house, and then on top of that, I think they're proposing that to vote on that park district, which would impose
another $200.
Yeah, roughly 185.
Yeah, after 5 years.
Right. Really, we're going to phase it in as if that's any great thing, right? Because in the end, it's still a big punch in the nose.
I was going to say it'll be so small that it won't be noticed. I guess what this guy on Lammy.
And I'm holding one of my appraisal notices at 86.1%.
Your property assessment went up 86%.
86%, right? And then the rate will increase.
Right.
And so not only will the taxes go up 86% because of the reappraisal, but they will also go up because of the rate increase.
Right.
That the commission will decide on Monday night, next Monday night. I would point out we've had 4 budget hearings, and we haven't had a single bit of public comment on it.
So I would encourage people to maybe think about public comment this coming Monday.
Yes, so if you do feel like you're getting you're on a fixed income and you're being taxed right out of Bozeman, it might be appropriate to tell your city commission that. I think I have some faith in the county commission to roll their levies back. I'm sensitive to those on fixed incomes. But also, let's face it, people on that run businesses and the hoteliers, the restaurateurs, all of them now, they pay a huge amount of taxes. And unlike residences, which demand more in services than they pay in taxes,
right? Yeah.
Commercial is a positive addition to our tax base. And so here are people that many of them appeal to tourists and who pay huge amounts of property taxes. Then they read in the paper where city commissioners are saying, well, we need a tax on tourists, a.k.a. a sales tax, because they're just not paying their way. Well, they are. The hotels, the restaurants, the commercial properties that go with that depend on tourists more than pay their way in property taxes. More than pay their way in property taxes. They demand less in services than they pay in property taxes. That's the positive addition. They actually make up for the rest of us who, if we have kids in school, simply can't afford. We would not be able to afford to pay the impact of our demand on services for what, our residents would hold. But there is no denying that this thirst for more and more and more taxes is causing people to move out of town.
Yeah, okay. From our text line, 478-8298, does Jeff have any knowledge of anyone registering in the city commission race? Has he encouraged anyone to run? Have you encouraged anyone to run?
Sure, I've talked to people. What I would tell you is I think there are 3 people going to run for city commission. None of them are me. So for the first time in 16 years, I'm not going to be involved as a commissioner or a campaigner. I think there is Brian Lemires, who ran for mayor last time, is running for mayor again. So Cindy Andrus as an opponent. Brian Lemires is, I think he's in a CPA, I think, and
I think so.
I think he's a lot. I think he has a similar philosophy to me, limited government, and individual rights, limited government, freeing up the ability to participate in commercial enterprise. So I think we'll see contested races, and so 3. There won't be a primary, I don't believe. So 3 commission candidates, and I think one of them is from the Socialist Party, so maybe a frequent listener. I don't know.
There you are. That could be, yeah. could very well be. Let's see. Talking about road closures, asked Jeff why 15th is closed. They have done nothing that justifies closing one of the most popular side streets in Bozeman. I'd like to pitch an official complaint, and of course we know why 15th is closed, because of the high school.
Yeah, they're going to build a roundabout there.
Yeah, they're going to
Ruth Tebow Way and
the
back way out of the Hastings Shopping Center and
the back door of the high school is going to become the front door of the high school.
Yeah, evidently.
Yeah, and so that's what they're putting in. They got to have it done by September for school opening, so they're rocking and rolling on it. So that's why it's closed. So we talked about that earlier, and there's an article in the morning paper about it as well. Let's see. The increases are forcing a longtime residents out.
Yeah, that's. I think that would be my point.
Yeah. Let's take a quick phone call, and we got to take a break. Caller, you are on the air with Jeff Krauss, Shane, and myself. What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Jeff, I want to correct one thing that you said. Businesses don't pay taxes. They pass it through to their customers.
Well, actually, they collect taxes.
They collect taxes, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
if a business truly paid its own tax, it wouldn't stay in business very long. It has to get it somewhere. And it's from the customers that they get it.
Well, you hope so, right? You hope. But what I would say is, my point being that tourists are paying for their impact, and then some. Tourists are not using the schools, right? They're not, and the schools are the the biggest piece of a property tax bill. So if businesses are paying more in taxes than they are in than demanding in services.
I mean, just the hotels alone. Look at Holiday Inn and Grand Tree and Hampton and Hilton and all of those.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a pretty big footprint there. So
it's the reason why businesses, or one of the reasons why businesses close in a great big downturn, because they don't have enough customers to pay the bills, the taxes, and so on.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, that's another problem that we do have. Where Taco John's closed for 2 weeks because they couldn't find staffing, and Perkins Restaurant reduced their hours. It's tough here when we got such a low unemployment. And
let's point out that connection a different way. If you're a landlord, if you're a renter, and you've tried to keep your rental rates below market. When you're faced with a $200 or $300 a month property tax increase on your property because of this reappraisal, those affordable, you're not going to pay to rent, right? You can't. As you say, you're soon out of business, and the bank owns your property.
Right.
So this idea that we can raise taxes with impunity and it won't affect the cost of housing is. That is, seriously, this new reappraisal is going to affect the cost of housing in a significant way. And that effect is going to be to raise rentals.
Yeah. So how are these assessments made? How do they come up with 82%?
86.1.
Yeah. Who's responsible for that? Is that a committee? Is it an individual? How do they do it?
Let's talk about that when we come back right after this. That'll be the question of the day for Jeff. All right, we'll be right back. 21 minutes after the hour. It is Tuesday, June 18th, 2019. Caller waiting on the line. And caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Hey, I must live in Montucky. I've had this place for 35 years, and this year my assessment actually went down.
Well,
I'm not sure my tax bill is going to go down, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Sure. Yeah, we had a couple people on our poll that said they paid none or less, or got none or less. So.
Yeah, well, Montucky, yeehaw.
All right. Hey, good for you. See? Welcome to Montana. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
So the average is 23.5% for Gallatin County.
That's an average. So
that's an average.
Half will pay less and half will pay more.
So for someone who's went down, obviously someone's went up 100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say
over 100%. Right? I can do math.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll.
We got a good comment on the text line.
We did. Yeah. Let me go back over there. Let's see. If you don't like your appraisal on the north side, blame your new neighbors. They drove up the property value. So I would say, when you move into a place, you pay. If you can afford that place, then you pay the price that the seller wants.
Right, the market sets the price.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's that's how it's worked.
The idea that everybody's going to stop buying so that they can drive their tax rate down, that just isn't the way. That's not the way it happens here.
Yeah.
In my 40 years here is that but the impact to people that have lived there a long time, as we've talked about more and more.
Yeah.
That have lived there a very long time, they're not participating in the market.
No.
Look, mine went up 86%. It's I can't really complain other than I'll just point out to you, if my taxes go up 86%, the affordable housing has to go away.
Well, that's was going to be one of my questions we were going to talk about down the line when we have a little more time. We're right up against the bottom of the hour here, but I do want to talk about that what does this do to affordable housing, and we'll do that at the bottom of the hour.
Well, I think more. So also to answer Shane, the Montana Department of Revenue reappraises houses. Now, some they have little mini blocks that they look at this area and they compare their appraisals to their past appraisals to what the current market conditions are, and they'll do a generic uptick. Or if you have a new house, they go out and reappraise it. You also get a If you buy something, you get a letter from the DOR, and they ask what you paid for it and what condition it's in, and are there any
almost
impairments?
Everybody that buys a home wants an appraisal on it, do they not? I mean,
I mean, so I don't think they use the appraisals, but they use their own methods of appraising.
Yeah.
But the Montana Department of Revenue has appraisers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're going out and appraising a single home, you'd look at what other homes sold for in that area, and traffic and school locations and stuff like that, where the Department of Revenue comes in and looks at all of Bozeman pretty much. And
no, they have micro areas.
Well, they would have some that, they have something on the north side, east side, west side, south side probably. And
they do.
New construction
they're more accurate than they've ever been.
Yeah.
In the old days, the old parts of town were at a third of what their market value were. They literally were. If you owned a new home, you paid at 80% of your market value, and if you owned an old home, you paid at 25% or 20% of your market value. They're much more accurate now.
Well, a lot of people have voiced something like Proposition 13 here. We've talked about that on the show many times. That
your purchase price is your deal with the government about your taxes.
For the benefit of people who don't know what Prop 13 was, it was in California many years ago. And what it says is that you move into your house, and whatever the property taxes are at that time don't change. They stay the same until you move out. Then the new person comes in, house is worth more, they pay more. But encourage people to stay in their homes. And for the fixed income people, they know that they're not going to be driven out of town.
And they've gone through the cycle of their lives in that they've paid for years. So their kids are through school. They're not demanding. They're not commuting every day. They're not demanding new
they're not using the services and all the things.
And so they're very low impact on services. And the idea that they should pay as if they just bought their house yesterday and they were a new family that moved in. I think that's wrong. And I've always thought so. Even when I had kids in school and I would have paid the high rate, I thought so. We talked about it last week, but one of the things that is significant is the county and the city governments can float the mills down, so the rate can go down in response to the tax base going up. The people that can't, the government that can, is the state. The state imposes 101 mills. That's a 6 mill levy for university, 95 mills for school equalization. That never floats. That stays 101 mills, and that punishes areas that have these kinds of reappraisals. So lakefront property and Flathead and downtown Bozeman are seeing huge increases in what they pay the state for school taxes, or not local school taxes, because they have to float their mill as well. But the state just skims off the cream, and if anytime anyone talks about tax reform, those 101 mills are the place I think we should start.
Yeah. Let's go to our text line, 478-8298. Taxes going up means spending went up. Well, you got a new high school, you got a safety building, you got a high school remodel going on, so you're exactly right. That's part of it.
New stadium, and all those have been voted on. Right?
Yep, they've all been voted on. So that's where we are. Let's see. We should do what the federal government does: lower taxes and increase spending. Apparently, debt is good. So there you are.
So I believe that would be in violation of the law. So. The law that Montana has is the state legislature and local governments have to balance their budget.
Right.
They have to have a balanced budget by the definition of the government.
Yeah.
Problem is we don't have one of those up at the federal government.
Yeah.
We need one of the same kinds of things.
Yeah.
It still allows for borrowing to build roads. You can borrow long-term to pay long-term.
I was going to say...
you can't just borrow long-term to burn it in front of the White House.
Well, in Montana, we balance the operating budget. We don't balance the capital budget, the one that pays for roads and bridges and, that allows borrowing. We balance the budget that keeps the government open and pays everybody.
And it's the same, it's the same way. You think about it as your house, right? It's like a mortgage, right? You borrow long-term to... You borrow long-term for your long-term asset, your house.
All
What you don't do is borrow long term so that you can pay the groceries next week.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, or borrow short term so you can pay the groceries,
Yeah.
which is what the federal government is doing.
I'm almost 61 years old, born in Bozeman, and I'm going to have to leave when I retire. I can't afford to live here. It makes me very sad. This is truly my hometown. So
That's I'm hearing that.
Yep. We're hearing it all too often here every day. Since these things hit the mailbox.
Yep.
So, all right, Shane Taubman on the line with us. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house, and Jeff Krauss is on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And we'll be back with more of that very same program, regardless of what you think, regardless of your cards, letters, and phone calls. We'll be back. So stay tuned. 24 minutes before the top of the hour, and Jeff Krauss is in the house. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing, and cantaloupe, can of something. He's up there. Right?
Alive and well, indeed. Okay, I got my Jeff list. Okay. Cost of old schools, streamlined bus, more money, how much? How many students graduated this year? Oh, you talked about the assessments are determined. Mm-hmm. And what is this the $10 million grant. Remember we talked about the Big Sky grant for the Spur Road you wanted to know about?
Oh, yeah. They're doing the Spur Road at Big Sky. They got a $10 million grant to do that down there.
That's
out of your
that is out of my jurisdiction, right? It's a good question for a county commissioner.
Yeah. Okay. Streamlined bus. You don't pay; it's free to ride it, I guess.
Free to ride.
And they need more money, and they came to you for $200,000, and you want $150,000, or.
Yeah, I think we gave what we gave last. I think it's more or less what we provided them last year. Most of the funding for the bus system comes from either Montana State University or the Fed.
Okay, so
it's not a city bus system.
Okay, so it's not city taxpayers aren't on the hook for it.
For 150 of it, yes.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
But so, what does the university pay? Do you know?
I don't know. The students are the ones that imposed the bus fee on themselves a long time ago.
So they pay that as part of their going to school. They can use the bus or not use it if they want to or don't want to, I guess. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Call you on the air with Jeff Krauss. What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Jack. I watched the City Commission meeting last night, and I have a question for Jeff, if you would.
Sure.
I was kind of wondering from the conversation, I got the idea that Winco is got a green light to open up. Is that the idea?
So we have approved Winco.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Winco is being sued along with the city for that approval.
Oh, okay. So that suit is still going on. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep.
Okay. Well, the other question was, in regards to that, you talked about a roundabout, or they talked about a roundabout there at Cattail and 19th. Is that right?
I don't believe it's Cattail and 19th. I think it's a block west of there or a couple blocks west of there. I'm trying to envision it in my mind where it is, but they're trying to solve the problem of the road that sort of parallels 19th that services all that area back there. You know, it gives rise to that bad intersection at by Costco there. That design of that road was designed a long time ago, like 20 years ago. And
you sort of got it's kind of like the mess at the Grand Tree, where you go in there where the Holiday Inn is, and then you got the same thing where you're trying to go into Costco and you got the traffic coming from the Outback and down that area.
Yeah, so I think it's that the roundabout will address those issues.
Okay.
All right.
Hope that answered the question. So, all right. Let's see. From our text line, balanced budgets are overrated. Just cut taxes, get people to vote for you. stick the debt to our kids. And like I said, my parents stuck me with the highway system, U.S. highway system, and the space program. So not all debt is bad.
Right, and and the Vietnam War.
And the Vietnam War,
yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
I kind of went and paid for that a little
you
bit
did
myself.
pay for that yourself. Yeah, I think that, but they, we tended to be. I have a great picture myself from 1957 when I'm just a little kid, and I have this full-sized replica of a machine gun. Oh. If you ever saw the Pacific, it looks just like the one that the Marine guy that won the Medal of Honor was carrying around and burning his arm. And
Audie Murphy.
It's sitting in front of me. And then I have a rifle over my shoulder, and I'm holding a pistol. So 2A forever. Even back in 1957, but we tended to be. I think we had a much more of a familiarity with. The World War II had just happened, the Korean War had just happened, Vietnam was just starting to happen.
Right. Yeah.
And nowadays, 12 years or I guess it's 18 years of war, and because there's not a draft, because it's not on the news all the time, we don't remember it. Except maybe on Memorial Day or Veterans Day, but veterans are coming all the time. We're creating a lot of veterans nowadays, and that's a legacy similar to what I was talking about with the Vietnam War that I don't believe people notice very much. I do, but I don't think everybody does.
Yeah, I always thought it was interesting that people who were drafted didn't have to serve as long as those who enlisted.
Yeah, that's true.
That was kind of I don't know. I think if you were drafted, you'd be penalized with a couple more years, but apparently not. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the soapbox with Tom and Shane and Jeff Krauss. What's up?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Steve-O. I just wanted to mention on this issue of property taxes, the Montana Code Annotated does provide some assistance, if you qualify under certain criteria, for those calling in that are having difficulties. Now, it's difficult to qualify. There's several things you have to demonstrate, to qualify. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. And, of course, everybody knows there's a reclassification review process where they, could submit a formal review. And that's just my two comments. But I also had a question for you guys.
Sure.
Since invariably property taxes almost always go up, and unless you say remove an out structure from your property or there's some major type of devaluation due to something catastrophic, do you guys happen to know when you contest or you request a reclassification or appraisal review for the market value assessment on your property, what types of things are they looking at besides those two things I just mentioned that may cause them to reclassify your property and maybe assess it at a lower market value? If maybe you guys and Jeff could comment on that, I'd appreciate it. No.
Okay.
I'll hang up and listen to what you guys have to say. Thanks again.
All right. Let's take a quick break while we think about that, and we'll come right back and answer that question for you. Hang on. 12 minutes for the top of the hour. We've got Jeff Krauss, three-time mayor of Bozeman and current city commissioner in the House. Jeff and Shane Talbot, of course, on the line. Half man, half amazing. And Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor. And let's see, from our text line, let's see, debt to buy something isn't the same as debt to pay the light bill. Yeah, you're right there. City county taxes on debt mills to buy stuff like schools. They don't do what the feds do, lower taxes and pay salaries and buy votes. So there you go.
Those are good observations.
Those are good observations, yeah. So, Shane, we had a caller with a question about property that we'll answer.
Anything that is atypical. So is there an easement on the property? Is it an odd-shaped property? Is it in poor condition? Mm-hmm. Because they value the condition.
Right.
Is there, some
easements or property
disputes or wetlands, or is there some reason it's not a typical city residential lot or business lot? all of those things. They may just look at the size and say, wow, that's a big lot, and it's zoned multifamily. So is it zoned, do they have it zoned as a multifamily or single family? All kinds of things like that. One of the things I think if you live in the city, you need to pay attention to is the size of the lot big enough to qualify. Because, there are a lot of small lots out there with houses on them that have done perfectly well for the citizens of Bozeman for decades and decades and decades, that under our new Unified Development Code, if it burnt down, you wouldn't be allowed to build back up because it's an atypical lot, and they just don't let you do that anymore. So you could say, well, I couldn't build here. The city doesn't allow it, right? So whatever might affect that property value, I would look for any of those things, right? That you could use to argue. And I think if you're a commercial property, then you look at the three ways that you can value your property and find one that's lower income, or it's not just like residential,
right?
You can look at a couple of different ways of valuing your property.
Do fixed income people have any recourse on these things?
There's a little bit. If you get the elderly homeowner credit on your income tax up to $1,000, that's means tested, so it fades out in the 30s, I think. So if you make more than 30,000 and some,
I know there's utility relief, things like that.
The utility relief. So there is one up through March. You can go in and say, I'm on a fixed income, very low income, and they will bring your tax return in. You go to Montana Department of Revenue, and if you qualify for that, a reduction in. So what they do is they reduce the rate, the multiplier between your market value and your taxable value. There's a multiplier. They reduce the multiplier, so your taxable value goes down. If you qualify for that, in the city of Bozeman, you will also qualify for utility reduction. We're the only city that does that. That was actually something I and the former treasurer, Anna Rosenberry, now the assistant city manager, did long ago. And that does help some senior citizens and low-income people. Those are the two things I can think of, elderly homeowner credit and that thing you have to apply for by early March, where you have very low income.
All right. We got to get the Rush update in here and some other things, so we'll be right back. Here's Rush. All right, we got about 3 minutes left here. Let's see from our text line, 478-8298, so we can pay less taxes for a rundown lot or property. If so, Shane went away. If so, I'm selling my lawnmower to pay my tax burden. So it's not how trashy your property is, is it?
It isn't trashing your property. Yeah. So if you don't mow your lawn, you'll get a ticket. I think this election, the city election, and the election the year after that will be a very stark contrast between people who think government is everything and people who believe in limited government and individual freedom and economic freedom. And it is going to be very stark terms. It's going to be less freedom for everyone so that we can give more free stuff to people who believe we should all be dependent on the government. Versus people who think the taters are there if you want to dig them, right? The people that think that they can, that think individual freedom and small government is the way, are becoming less and less as more people become dependent on government.
Yeah. From our app chat, if you have our AM 1450 KMMS app, you can use app chat to directly get to us faster than the text line.
It just goes right into my brain.
Yeah, it goes right in here. So this was too late to get on the show yesterday. It came in at 9 a.m. I disagree with the last caller from yesterday. Rich people pay taxes. In fact, they are taxed at a higher rate. Corporations pay taxes, employ people that pay taxes. All those people pay property taxes and sales tax, fuel tax. When you tax the people who have money more, that money goes to government, not into the system. It's one less car, one less boat, one less house. I don't mow poor people's lawns. They mow their own. I buy food, equipment, fuel, and I pay property taxes on my land. So basic economic sense here. So there you are.
Good comment.
And that'll do it.
Yeah.
Say goodbye, Shane.
Goodbye, Mayor. Goodbye, Jeff. Everybody be happy, be safe.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for being here. All right. We'll see Shane tomorrow morning, bright and early. And Jeff, we'll see you next week as usual. And we appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Budget meeting on Monday night. Show up and tell us how you feel.
Tell us about those, your property taxes. Show up on Monday night and voice your concerns. So, hey, if they can't hear you, they don't do nothing.
That's right.
Amen. So, all right, we'll see everybody bright and early, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.